Couch tripper.
The earliest thing at the moment I can remember making me really laugh and being aware was a joke and thinking that was good was the titles to Terry and June, where Terry Scott comes, June is already there in the garden and it's sunny and she's enjoying a cooling drink, and Terry comes out and settles himself down, and I think for one series the sun lounger collapses and he's there for, oh, the bloody sun lounger. Another series he's like putting 2 drinks down for him and June, and then he settles down and it starts to piss down with rain, and it's just a bad thing happens. A thing to make him unhappy happens, and clearly that's funny. And I remember thinking, that's lovely, that's brilliant, that's wicked, in the old sense of wicked rather than in the sense cool. Although there's perhaps a little insight into why it has come to mean cool. But yeah, and that show was, of course, written by Simon Cane's father. Simon Cane, who writes some of our stuff, wrote that show, and I like that fact.
First comedy I remember seeing was it would probably be sort of Saturday night stuff that my grandparents would watch, because I'd usually go and stay with them at the weekend, and that would be stuff like Russ Abbott.
Russ Abbott. Fuck off.
Cannon and Ball.
Little and Large was shit. Cannon and Ball was shit.
The excellent sitcom That's My Boy, starring Mrs. Slocum and that bloke. Yeah, first comedy I actually enjoyed. Well, I sort of enjoyed all that at the time. I thought that was all fun. Sort of, you know, when you're too young to understand humour, even that of Cannon and Ball, you know, sort of everyone else is sort of laughing, you kind of go, oh, no. You're laughing, okay, right. Ha ha ha, you sort of join in.
Can't remember any jokes in Cannon and Ball, just them being on in the studio set, sort of vaguely bickering and thinking, not understanding, and thinking less of myself at the time.
I remember one funny bit from Cannon and Ball. There were probably loads, but one that sticks in my mind, and they that opening thing, they come down some steps at the foot of a stage, and at this time, it didn't always happen. They were pros, they only did it once, but Bobby kept on walking, because they'd normally meet and then turn and come out to the audience, and Bobby kept on walking down while still. That was really funny. I defy anyone not to find that funny. In fact, when I get home, I'm going to YouTube that and see if it won't be on YouTube, will it? Anyway, that was all funny.
I remember watching Spies Like Us 3 times. I definitely overrated that, but it is nevertheless quite funny. And I've seen it as it were, as an adult. And there's a very funny bit where they're pretending to be doctors, and then they're just leaving a tent full of doctors. And they're just saying goodbye to all the doctors. Doctor, 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 doctor. Every doctor has to say doctor in farewell to every other doctor. And it's very funny because they say doctor a lot and they're not doctors.
I thought carry-on films were funny, and no carry-on film is funny.
I think I affected to laugh at carry-on films, but I don't think I ever really thought they were funny. I just thought you were supposed to laugh, and it scandalised one's parents and therefore became funnier. But what I was actually laughing at were my parents' affectations of being offended rather than anything in those films, because they are terrible.
Even the ones they say are funny, especially the ones they say are funny, because you watch them and you think, oh, this is the funny one. It's not. None of them are. The first time I remember seeing something that I knew was definitely funny, and I was really laughing for my own sake in a room where no one else was The Young Ones. And my mum and stepdad were just going like that, and I was screaming I just couldn't believe that they were allowed to say these things.
When I absolutely first saw an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus, I thought, this is scary and wrong and I don't understand it. And then I didn't see it for about, I don't know how old I was then, maybe about 10. And I didn't see it for about a year. And then I got it and I liked it. And it was probably the difference was when I saw it later on, I'd heard a lot of talk about it and realised it was something you were supposed to like, so I was better disposed towards it.
But repeats of Python were, I mean, I know David saw a lot of that. I saw a few bits and bobs, and I was going, oh, it's that bloke from Fawlty Towers, but he seems to be doing something different. And it never really quite did it for me. I mean, the best Python sketches are fantastic, but I can't watch a whole half an hour of that TV series without thinking, well, that's not as good as everyone said it is.
I was slightly obsessed with Monty Python for a few years. That and Blackadder and And then the Goon Show, first time I listened to it, I thought that's a bit weird, but then got into it. And then it becomes a thing you're into that your parents aren't into, and you have a bit of ownership over it.
The young ones and the early shows that get forgotten a bit, like I Kick Up the 80s and Laugh, I Nearly Paid My Licence Fee, and I sort of want to include Not the 9 O'Clock News. I know that was an older generation, but I saw some early ones of that. And then Fry and Laurie and Blackadder and Friday Night Live and Saturday Live. That whole generation, that whole generation was the sort of big deal for me.
So I had a few Monty Python videos I'd bought myself, and I copied like the records onto tape from friends, which is, you know, the 1980s equivalent of torrenting, I suppose, but took a bit more effort actually. And I didn't buy loads of their stuff. I thought I was really keen. It's a bit like when you go to university and you sort of think, yeah, I was a Star Wars fan, and then you meet people who really were, and they blow you out of the water, who just can recite the entire film, and you sort of say, well, I'm not going to mention Star Wars much. It's just the film I enjoyed.
I was very impressed by Victoria Wood. And I think I did a few school assemblies and stuff. Every now and again you were allowed to do what you like, and I did a couple of her monologues.
You could see the technique in someone like Rowan Atkinson's performance in Blackadder, the way he drew laughs out of an audience. I just specifically remember there was a bit where the Prince Regent's trying to persuade him to do something, and he basically bribes him, goes, I'll give you an extra 1,000 guineas a month. And that's the 3 stages, and then Blackadder goes, okay, what do you need me to do, or something like that. But I remember seeing, and it was incredibly quick, I'll give you another 1,000 guineas a month. And what Rowan Atkinson did during that was the laughs he got for not agreeing it was just 3 gestures. I can't remember the first one, but he made it very clear he's not interested. On the first one, and then the second time, he looks at his. I think maybe it's both with the hand. I think there's certainly at one point he does that, just like inspecting his nails, and gets a huge laugh out of the audience. And the idea of him not wanting to play ball is sort of a bit funny, but it became very clear to me that the laugh came from him having done exactly the right gesture with his hand.
Almost every sketch that I wrote was a pretty self-conscious rip-off of what I'd seen on Fry and Laurie that week. I mean, down to actual lines. I wrote a sketch that was supposed to be about something else, but it involved a teacher saying, I'm not professing to be any great judge of poetry, Peter. I'm an English teacher, not a homosexual. And that was just lifted. It was wholesale larceny.
When I was playing Rabbit in Winnie the Pooh at prep school age 12, I remember that getting laughs. And I remember clearly them being laughs I deliberately made them give me. With these hilarious A.A. Milne lines, I hasten to add. But, that was nice. And I thought, that was the first time I'd enjoyed appearing on stage, other than for the sort of just being in the school play and, hanging around backstage playing cards. That's the first time I enjoyed being actually on stage.
Well, I was in not quite a school play. There was a thing called the Eisteddfod, which is every form in the second year they compete at gymnastics, and one of the things was drama. And my friend Paul Carver had written this thing called Class Reunion, where we all meet up in the year 2000, which was this beyond the horizon piece of the future at that point. And I was the main part, and he'd written some funny bits, and I got some laughs, and I remember that being a very good feeling. And that was sort of the first time that, because I'd been a bit funny in the playground and doing the odd impression, but it was the first time I was doing it in front of an audience with a proper script, and I thought this is good. I mean, it can't have been that. I mean, it was very kind of them to laugh, because it was amazing they could understand what I was saying, because I was still talking. I had a speech impediment. I still say S's like this and T's like T, S, T. So just very broad northern accent, so I'm like talking like this, so it was completely astonishing. Anybody knew what the fuck I was talking about.
And then there was definitely in the lower, I think it was the lower sixth, we did a production of The Real Inspector Hound, and I played one of the main parts in that. and that went down really well, and that felt great. And I thought I might be good at this. Now, I mean, at the time I thought I'm brilliant at this, but then that confidence gets somewhat commuted by subsequent failures.
I knew that I wanted to be a sort of comedy writer performer, hopefully on the telly, from the age of about 13 or 14. It was that weird. And then by the time I got to Cambridge, I think I was really, really focused on it, because I thought I was sort of funny at school, and then I knew that Footlights would have attracted other people who wanted to do the same things, and I wanted to see whether I was any good compared to them, and it turned out I was all right.
The first sketch show I sort of wrote a lot of stuff for was in my first year at Cambridge. It was this show called Go to Work on an Egg, and that was a sort of moment of really, we're getting loads of laughs for this show, and we've completely, there's no help from A.A. Milne or Tom Stoppard here. This is our stuff. And then, obviously the first show with Rob, where we hadn't even been bothered to learn our own stuff, and we got loads of laughs. And that was a terrible lesson, in that it didn't teach us that you're supposed to work hard and prepare. It taught us that sometimes you don't bother and everything works out brilliantly anyway. I don't know. I think they think I make a living now, and a good one, so they're relieved.
I don't know. It's got to the point where they're so fucking sycophantic that they might just be laughing because I'm off the telly, and they're so impressed that I kind of go, I'll have a gin and tonic, please, and they just fall around. I think that's why they're laughing.
I think they can see that I do things that are funny, and appreciate that. But with something like Peep Show, they'd never watch that without if I wasn't in it. That's totally not their cup of tea. But at the same time, they do watch it, and they can see it's in its own genre. It is good, and they recognise the jokes, and I think enjoy them.
I think my brothers would probably like the odd episode of the sketch show and the odd episode of Peep Show. My dad wouldn't like either. I don't think he'd really like them if I weren't in them. He does like the radio show, because that's basically respectable, and he can tell his friends down the Conservative Club that his youngest is in that.
But I don't think it's possible for them to know whether they think I'm funny. What they do is they thought, oh no, he's going into an incredibly unstable profession. Why did we bother sending him to moderately posh schools and encouraging him to work hard for him to piss it all away at this job at which he's statistically extremely unlikely to succeed? So that was their first thought, and then their second thought was, oh, he seems to be succeeding. Oh, brilliant, what a relief, we're very happy for him. But and in the first instance, they were concealing under enthusiasm their doubts, and now I think they feel genuine enthusiasm. But there's no room in that maelstrom of emotion for them to actually to notice whether or not I'm funny, I don't think. And they could never. I don't think they could. What if they thought I wasn't? They couldn't allow themselves to think that. So they have to not address that. Thinking as I would in their position. Of course he's funny. Yes, he's funny, but he probably should be an accountant.
There was quite a big moment. I mean, quite a big moment for me. It was a great moment. Was my first year at Cambridge. Footlights do these evenings of sort of informal cabaret called Smokers, and when you do that for the first time, you bring along a bit of stand-up or a monologue, or you found some people to do a sketch with that you write yourself. And if you're doing that for the first time, that's called the Virgin Smoker. And I auditioned for some elderly people in Footlights, one of whom was the young James Barkman. It is that sick. So I got put in the Virgin Smoker, and you put me on last, thank you, which was a bit nerve-wracking. And I was doing this monologue about someone trying to do a lecture about Macbeth in a maximum security prison without mentioning murder, because he was very nervous. Anyway, I did this nervous thing, and it went down, though I say it myself, it went down fantastically well. So that was a great feeling, and all the other acts coming up and patting me on the back and saying well done. And when I did the dancey thing for Comic Relief, it reminded me of that a lot, because it was actually one of the few times, if not the one of the few times that I was sort of out there on my own, doing my own thing.
I think the first day filming the sketch show, seeing M and W on the unit signs, the signs that show you where the unit base is, that's cool. Sort of realise that's, you know, we've got our own show. That was sort of like a little moment, because even though it was very early in the morning, it was just a little moment that slightly burns into your memory. Going on Have I Got News for You for the first time was the weirdest thing, because the music hasn't changed since I watched it as a child. That was frightening, really frightening, but retrospectively a proud moment. And 5 years from now, I'd be very happy if things were just going on as they are. Basically, I would settle for that.
Well, I think every show has its shelf life, and I'm not so certain that Peep Show or that Mitchell and Webb Look will be around in 5 years' time. I wouldn't mind doing this for another couple. In fact, I'd like to do them for another 5 years, but I doubt that's going to happen.
I wouldn't say no to Oscar for Best Actor, but I don't seriously think I'm going to get that in the next 5 years, and I'm not willing to risk what I've got in search of that. I wouldn't mind writing a Booker Prize-winning novel, but I haven't got an idea for one, so that doesn't seem very likely.
Popping up in the odd film, wouldn't mind. This is where I sort of modestly go, wouldn't mind popping up in the odd film, the odd really successful film, wouldn't mind.
What I don't want is to be stopped from doing a sketch show and a sitcom I'm really proud of on television. Lots of radio things I love doing, lots of panel shows which I really enjoy. Writing bits and pieces for newspapers that is just, I really enjoy as well, because it uses a different bit of the brain, and sort of generally getting to walk around feeling, yes, I do have a job, and a good job, doing exactly what I wanted to do as a teenager, and the sort of people implied was impossible.
All we really want to do is sit here with our two massive comedy shows going ha ha with big hats on, smoking cigars.
That's how they do it in Hollywood. Thank you. That's excellent.
He'll never kneel because he's our greatest hero and has saved humanity countless times.
Then where is he?
Well, at the moment he is in prison for statutory rape.
Rape? He did a rape?
A little bit of a rape.
A bit of a rape? I've never done a rape. And I count myself a
Right, we're gonna have to move fast. Premier solution of Arnica Montana. Pret. Stat.
Strength?
1 part in a million.
Are you sure? It looks serious.
You're right. 1 part in 10 million.
On it, Doctor.
Cut it. I hear you've got a tricky one.
Nothing I can't handle. Get me some wolfsbane, also known as monk's fuck in here. Stat.
I hear you've got a tricky one.
Nothing we can't handle. Get me some wolfsbane, also known as monk's hood in here. And a whole flower of trade remedies. Stat.
Whoa, his chakras are fading. Think you're gonna need some crystals.
Okay, he's stabilizing. Now, does anybody know what kind of car hit him?
A blue Ford Mondeo, apparently.
Okay, give me a bit of blue Ford Mondeo.
Think you better have a look at this, Simon.
What is it?
I don't think this chap's got long to live.
Why not?
His lifeline, very short. And his horoscope's not too clever. Sagittarius, brace yourself for a surprise. Things are about to change for you.
They certainly are, unless... Wait.
What?
We could try drawing on some more lifeline in biro.
It'll never work.
You've got a better suggestion, Kenneth. Let's see what happens. Time of death, 3:34-ish. I'll go and tell the family.
Gemini, you're gonna win the lottery. That's me.
What's a tray remedy?
I think it must be Knowles.
What's he doing?
It's an exchange of something. A plain brown parcel.
Hope it's socks.
It's cash.
Oh, cash. Typical. I'm sorry, this is a fucking horrible nut.
You're running.
Finish me off?
All right.
And then never, ever mention it again.
All right.
Do you do any extras?
That's next week.
Action.
Tough day, eh?
I just can't stand losing them.
It happens.
Too damn often these days. Get that, will you?
Then what about the Harvest Festival hamper? That's only a few weeks away.
Control yourself, man.
But look at this prize melon, sir.
So, what will you do now?
I'll wait for this van. Wait.
What?
We could try drawing some more lifeline on with biro.
It'll never work.
Never say never, can I?
Ready?
It'll never work.
It'll never work.
Never say never, can
It'll never work.
Still running. At that point, still running. Ready, Ben?
Ready?
And action.
It'll never work.
Never say never, Kenneth. Never. Fuck!
Okay,
Try
still
again.
running, guys. Still running. Keep it quiet on set. Ready, and action.
It'll never work.
You got a better idea? Let's see what happens.
Cut that.
Are you happy?
What?
Are you happy?
What's brought this on?
I'm just trying to start a sensible adult conversation about important issues, like whether or not people are happy. Are you happy?
Well, no, I'm not really.
I can't believe you'd admit that, you loser!
No, look, I'm okay. I'm perfectly content.
No, you're not, or you wouldn't have said that. No point trying to pretend now that you're happy. Everyone, David isn't even happy.
What happened to the sensible adult conversation? God.
Is there one?
What?
Is there a God, do you think? Let's discuss it.
I'm not going to talk to you about my religious beliefs. They're private.
Oh, and yet you have no qualms about going around to everyone banging on about how deeply unhappy you are.
Shut up.
What do you think about abortion?
What?
Say on television some things that you've thought about abortion.
Well, it's not really something I think about very often.
Oh, that's nice.
What?
That's nice to all the fetuses and women who don't have any choice, depending.
Sorry.
What are your views on the congestion charge?
Oh, that's a bit London-centric, isn't it?
People do live in London, David. Millions of people live in London. It's all very well for you to ignore them with your trendy, regionalised media views. We can't all live in Newcastle or the country.
Well, all right, I'm broadly in favour of the congestion charge.
Would you say that to a cabbie?
Of course not.
Hypocrite! That was really good.
What?
That was a really good adult chat about important issues. Like they have on The Right Stuff. We really should talk about Islam sometime.
Excuse me, could you tell me the time?
Are you going to take this? Do you think you can handle this, or are you going to call for backup?
Yeah, it's just...
Is the training about to kick in? Don't you need to sign an insurance waiver before having a go at this?
Yeah, it's just gone 2:20, madam.
Oh, madam. Oh, the professional touch. I haven't felt such a frisson of sheer class since I was last measured up for trousers.
Thanks.
She was wearing a watch. Why don't you arrest her?
Well, I think that would be a bit...
Oh, of course, it would just be a citizen's arrest. So there's always the risk that she'd just arrest you straight back. You can always do her for wasting police time. There again, all she wasted was community support officer time, which, it turns out, is wrong.
What?
It's 1:30, you prick.
Capping the volcano with a huge chunk of polar ice.
Penis-shaped.
With a huge penis-shaped chunk of polar ice.
I stuck it in bell end first.
Can you shut up?
Sorry.
And so, by doing this, Captain Todger has once again saved the world.
Even the Chinese.
No, that's racist.
What? What's racist about it? I'm saying I even saved the Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't bother saving the Chinese.
No.
Not bothering to save the Chinese. That would be racist. I like them. They make bloody good food. I should probably have a chinky later for my tea.
Say chinky?
Lovely chinky. Oh, I'll have to now. Now, any questions? Oh, look at that. It's probably dog. You can get me out of this, can't you, Steve? Come on, you owe me. How many times have I saved this city?
I'll do my best.
I swear to God, she looked at least 17. Honestly. She was wearing makeup. How was I to know? If there's an innocent here, it's me.
Okay, I hear you, but it just doesn't look very good.
I know that, mate, but in a few months or a year and a bit, it would have been absolutely fine under the eyes of the so-called law.
It's just, it looks like one law for you and one for the rest of us.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can we do that?
Following recent revelations regarding Captain Todger... Captain Todger, have you gone invisible?
No?
On behalf of all the people of this city, and with much reluctance, I hereby hand over all power to General Dreyfox and his minions. Which means that... Help us, Captain Todger!
Captain Todger, where are you? We need you! Silence! Who is this Captain Todger? And where is he or she? Because, of course, captains can be male or female.
Captain Todger? Well, you might ask. You'll be in real trouble when he gets here.
So where is this imbecile? Let him kneel before me! Unless, of course, he's an Orthodox Jew and has an issue with kneeling for religious reasons, in which case I'd be happy for him to pay his obeisance in whatever way he finds culturally appropriate.
He'll never kneel before you.
Oh, so he is Orthodox?
No! He'll never kneel because he is our greatest hero and has saved humanity countless times.
Then where is he?
Well, at the moment, he's in prison for statutory rape.
What? Rape?
Statutory rape? It was an accident. She was wearing makeup.
I really don't think that's any excuse.
She was wearing makeup.
Look, Captain Todger, there's really none of us in here who can talk.
Quite so.
Save us, Captain Todger! Please, wherever you are!
Oh, well. No rest for the convicted. Now, you nonces stay where you are. I don't want any of you escaping through here.
Okay, Captain Todger.
Behold my wonderful new city in all its multicultural diversity.
You sound all right, Spanner.
Captain Todger, I presume.
You can presume what you like. You've still got pubes on your chin like your whole face is one big fanny.
Look, however confrontational the context, there really is no excuse for that kind of childish...
You sound like you're wearing a bikini under that costume. Let's see your bikini.
What are you doing? Why have you made me wear a bikini?
Because you're a girl. Worse, a girl with no baps.
You're horrible. This isn't a superhero battle. This is workplace bullying.
Up yours, Delors.
What?
Go back to planet Tranny.
How do you know the name of my planet?
And stay there. Pillock. Morning, Boris.
So, once again, we pay tribute to Captain Todger for having saved us all.
And on a personal note, thanks for bringing me back to life. But you're sure your powers don't work on fat people?
Not on the ones that say they're going to get rid of the bendy buses and then don't.
Any questions?
How difficult was it to prevail over the evil General Dreyfox?
Piece of piss, love. At the end of the day, the bloke turned out to be a massive knobhead.
Yeah, don't say knobhead.
All right, he was a bell end. No? Farty breath dick squeeze? He was a tosser. He tossed for the galaxy. A galaxy called arse.
Right, thank you. Captain Todger has to go back to prison now.
Oh, referee? You sat there nice as pie next to General Lady Twat, but when it comes to me, I've got to go back to prison.
Well, that's the rule of law for you.
Well, it's PC God Gay, that's what I call it. Right, I'll see you all in 18 months. I'll be easy to find because I'm getting tagged.
He was so annoying. He kept saying, how much would you charge to eat a teaspoonful of human shit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What did you say?
Well, I didn't dignify it with an answer.
Why did you think your answer would have dignified it? What's so bloody dignified about your answers?
Well, I
Are
mean...
they made out of fucking ermine, your answers? He was asking a very interesting question, a fascinating question, if you ask me. How much would you charge to eat a teaspoon of human poo? I could wait all year to be asked a question that good.
Do you want me to ask you it?
Yes, please.
All right. How much would you charge?
£4,000, at least.
What, only £4,000?
What, only £4,000? Look, David, we don't all get corporate gigs. £4,000 is a lot of money where I come from.
Yeah, Lincolnshire. It's not a lot of money where you live now.
Yeah, but still.
No, seriously, you would eat a teaspoon of human shit for £4,000?
Gladly. Well, not gladly.
Done. I'll pay that.
What?
I'll give you £5,000.
Right. Well, not now. I'd have to do it in private.
Well, how would I know you'd go through with it?
Well, you just have to trust me. That's what trust means.
Yes, how would I know?
That's what trust means.
I know what trust means.
You don't know the meaning of trust.
I swear I did. Oh, okay. All right. I trust you. Tell me when you've done it.
Money up front.
You don't know what trust means.
And I've tried to like it, but I think it's basically just for women.
What are you talking about? Hair removal cream?
No, Sex and the City.
Oh, right. Well, of course, the original's better.
What?
I prefer the original version.
Of Sex and the City? It is the original version.
No, it's a remake.
Of what?
Well, Tenko.
Tenko? It's a remake of Tenko.
Sex and the City is a remake of Tenko. I would have thought that was obvious.
It's not.
Come on, think about it. Those women in the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most of the royalties from Sex and the City go to the producers of Tenko.
Hang on. I've thought about it some more now, and now it doesn't make sense.
Okay, think about it even more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, makes sense again. So, did they change it at all for the remake?
No. Well, a bit. They changed the title and the setting, got rid of the Japanese prison guards and put in cocktails instead, but it's just cosmetic, really.
Yeah, cosmetic. Because those old ladies, they did look a bit rough, a bit sweaty.
Yeah, they made it less sweaty than Tenko.
It is less sweaty.
But most of the dialogue's just completely lifted.
How often do you think about sex?
Not all that often at the moment, actually.
Right. And have you got your eye on any guys at the moment?
I'm finding it quite hard to meet guys at the moment.
Me too. Every new guy I meet always turns out to be a Japanese guard. Or gay.
More a Japanese guard, I find.
Anyway, who needs men?
Yes. What we need is medicine.
Yes. We need medicine.
I'll just come through for me. I'm afraid we've received some complaints about the noise.
Have you?
Yes, the station's received several calls from local residents. Look, I'm not a stripper, all right?
Right.
I'm a real policeman. There really have been some complaints. I mean, have you booked a stripper? Because I'm not it.
I don't think anyone's...
I know they do policemen strippers. I've run into this problem before, but it's not me, all right? I'm not a stripper.
Right.
I mean, I don't mind. You know, there's no law against it behind closed doors, but it's just not me. Right, okay, right, look. All right? Okay? See? Rubbish. Would a stripper be that inept? No. No, listen to me. Look, I'm taking off my cap, all right? A stripper would do that last, all right? Will you please believe me? Look, okay, right. All right, it's a clip-on tie, but that's so the criminals can't strangle me. It's not very easy of access. I mean, it is, but, you know, look, all right, look. Okay, would a stripper take his shirt off like this? Look how much trouble I'm having with these buttons. It's taking ages. It's very clunky and ungainly. Where's the sexiness? Look, I'm just doing it normally, all right? You know, look at this body. Is this the body of a stripper? It's not even oily or anything. No, don't turn the music up. That is the very thing I came here to prevent. Oh, no, you're being misled. What you're watching is a normal man undressing. Look, right, will a stripper do this, right? I'm having to take my trousers off in a conventional manner. Now, a stripper wouldn't do that. He'd have some Velcro down the side, so it's easier. How can I convince you? I mean, look at my pants. I mean, they're normal. A stripper would have a sparkly posing pouch of some sort. And a stripper wouldn't show you his cock.
We need to discuss Gödel's incompleteness theorems.
That iPod is on random and it's gone onto a Melvin Bragg podcast. That would not happen to a stripper.
Keep the noise down.
Yeah, this goes really to the heart of what we're going to about. You start with things that you're happy with. The axioms are somehow the basic things of mathematics, things that are obvious. For example, points. 2 points.
So, we're doing this stripper policeman thing.
You know what?
The sketch you wrote where the policeman turns up at the house and everyone thinks he's a stripper, so he takes his clothes off badly to prove that he's not a stripper.
Yeah, I thought that'd be good.
Right. And who did you imagine would be playing the policeman? Who strips and shows his bottom?
Well, you.
Me.
Obviously.
Me, obviously.
Yes. What?
Well, it's your sketch. Why don't you do it?
I suppose I thought that this would be more up your street.
You think me taking my clothes off on television is more up my street?
The last thing I want is to have a conversation with you, but there is a certain amount of evidence to suggest...
You basically think I'm a prostitute, don't you?
No, absolutely not. A prostitute has sex with people for money. You just take your clothes off for money. There's a world of difference.
I have never taken my clothes off for money.
That shit film you hate. You got paid for that?
Barely. Not barely. Hardly. Not hardly.
And all the other times.
Look, yes. It's part of being an actor, David. Halle Berry got an Oscar for it.
Fine, so what's the problem?
I'd just rather you didn't assume that I'd be prepared to do that, that's all.
Well, yes, all right, I suppose that's fair enough.
I mean, it's only a comedy show.
Well, yes.
It is my bottom. I do have some control over it. That wasn't a joke.
I know. Look, it's fine if you don't want to do the sketch. But I suppose I just assumed that it would be your bottom because your bottom is so much nicer than mine.
Well, that's true.
You see?
I mean, I suppose if it were shot discreetly.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be...
Look, it takes all sorts. You just happen to be a nudist.
I mean, I've never seen your bottom, obviously, but I'm sure you've got a really nice one.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was being silly. I mean, you know, if I don't do it, then...
Well, this is it.
Has anyone seen my clothes?
In the canteen where you're off. What a pervert.
Yeah. Do you think you've actually got a thing about this?
I'm sorry?
Do you think... I just mean, maybe there's a thing that you've got about nudity that you're trying to work through somehow.
Nudity?
Yes.
No, don't think so. Oh, are you talking about my costume? Well, you're in costume, I'm in costume. You made me do that sketch naked. This is my downtime. What, you want me to put on a suit and hat in my downtime?
No, it's just that it's conventional, indeed only polite, to wear clothes when you're...
What's going to happen, David? Is someone going to arrest me? We're on location. Who's going to arrest me?
I think the owners of the house might.
They've been packed off to Corfu, as well you know.
Well, true.
You're screwing with my downtime. You're literally sitting there judging my choices.
Look, it's just not very nice for everyone to have to cope with your cock and balls while they're trying to get on with their work.
Everyone's fine, David. You're the only one with a problem.
You just keep that still.
You are so weird.
I am normal. I am normal. I am normal.
And welcome to this Big Talk Credit Crunch special. I'm Raymond Terrific, and as ever, I'll be facing down the horsemen of the apocalypse with the taser of reasoned analysis and a bunch of nerds with thought guns. So, boffins, for years we've been twiddling our thumbs talking about tiny stuff like AIDS, terrorism and global warming. But now, at last, a crisis worthy of your intellect. House prices are going down. Is it worth carrying on living? Richard?
Well, I don't think we should get this out of proportion.
The only way we could get this out of proportion is if we called it only disastrous. This is the worst crisis affecting mankind since nearly not existing in the first place. Compared to this, a dirty bomb on the tube is a party popper that scares someone's aunt.
Really, Raymond, the world's other problems haven't gone away. This is just a medium-term economic...
Leonard! Did you hear what I said? House prices are going down. The only thing that's made British people feel okay about themselves for 20 years is the ludicrous amount of entirely theoretical money they're supposedly sitting on. And all that's going away. Are you really going to sit there with a straight face and tell me that a bunch of dead Burmese is more serious than negative equity in Peterborough? That's not what the media's saying!
I think the reality
I don't even like cats.
I think the reality is that the property boom was all just smoke and mirrors.
Well, what's the problem with that? They're not hard to come by, smoke and mirrors. It's not like unicorns and someone who understands me. Bring more smoke and mirrors. Problem solved.
I was speaking metaphorically.
Well, that's a luxury that can only be afforded by people who don't own a gorgeous 18th century mill conversion that's losing value at a rate of 4 luxury holidays a month.
Well, I'm...
Who the hell is going to buy my mill now?
Is that why you brought the programme back after 2 years?
I've just put another bathroom in. Look, come on, look at it. It's gorgeous. Come on. Who's going to start the bidding? Richard? Tim? Leonard? Danielle? Come on, boffins! It nearly got on Grand Designs!
Really, Raymond?
You're all full of good ideas when it comes to third worldsters you've never met. But when you see a real human tragedy playing itself out before your eyes, there's an icy withdrawal of love that's like having an erectile fiasco with a snowman. I rest my case.
Corey, could you get that?
I'm sorry, Ray. No, I'm afraid I can't.
What?
Because of my personal brand.
Your what?
My brand identity is very young, urban, cutting edge. Whereas I think answering phones is associated with something a little less aspirational.
But I was expecting a call from my urologist.
Oh, there's posh. Your urologist. My lawyer. I'm going to be lunching with my probation officer or whatever. Ray, he's just a urologist.
An urologist?
Neurologist? I didn't know you were going mental.
No, Anne.
Oh, woman. Ooh, must be embarrassing. So, what is it? More test results?
None of your business.
That was funny that time, wasn't it? When I answered for you and they said positive and I said, oh, that's positive. That was quite witty. Must have cheered you up. Was it AIDS?
No. No herpes, fortunately.
That's not a phrase you hear every day. Anyway, branding is key. And I must say, Ray, that as the audience you're marketing to, I don't really feel you're leveraging your reputation that effectively if you're just going to talk about how you've got herpes.
How come you're suddenly like this?
I've rebranded. Colin 2.0.
Did you know that people form judgments about you within the first 30 seconds of meeting?
But we've been sharing this office for over a year.
Yeah, and I've never really got past that first impression that you were a bit of a tit.
Tit?
Yes, or twat, or git. But not an arsehole or shit, but still worse than a prat or Burke. Just owning my honesty, Ray.
I had an honesty ray once. Turns out size does matter.
See, there you go again. It's all slightly creepy talk of small disease penises, rather than, with me, it's I'm an enabler, I'm a connector, I'm a productivity party, and there's free food.
You went on that course, didn't you?
I popped in, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'd heard it all before, but last time I wasn't listening. Now I'm a really good listener.
Do you think so?
I'm sorry? Hello? Oh, shit! I keep screwing this up!
Oh, hello, is that No Win, No Fee Lawyers Are Us? Oh, good. I noticed your advertisement where it said to call if something had happened to me that I really didn't deserve. Yeah, well, I just won £20,000 on a scratch card, and I definitely didn't deserve that. So I was wondering... Yeah, thanks. So I was wondering what you were going to do about it. Well, I thought maybe you could get them to double it or something. I mean, he's really changed me. I'm feeling a lot of guilt. I've dropped all my friends.
Ray, can you pass me...
Shut up, Colin! See what I mean? I'm moody, I don't wash anymore. Or rather, I don't wash any more than I used to. Quite frankly, if I didn't have £20,000 of free money, I'd be at my wit's end. Hello?
Ray, was that a crank call? Were you ribbing some poor call centre drone? You're not going to combat a litigious society that way. That guy probably used to make steel, and now you've stolen his dignity.
You used to work in a call centre. It didn't affect your dignity?
I've never had any dignity, Ray. I was the one at school who weed in class.
Oh, was that you?
There's one in every class. In mine, it was me.
That's true. In mine, it was Chris Martin.
One in every class, that's about 1 in 30 of the population, higher in the independent sector, destined to be the crumbling grout in the gaps in society, doing the unskilled jobs that no one else wants or can see the point in. Hello, NHS Quit Smoking Helpline. No, Ray, no, do not make a link there. I'm not having my unserendipitous sequence of remarks be the spark that ignites your satirical hate gas. You or any of your buddies on the Mock the Week message board. Sorry, you were saying you wanted a fag. Oh, no, you want to give up. Well, which is it? You want a fag? Have you not heard about the cancer? Oh, you want to give up? Yeah, good idea. But you want a fag. Look, I just think you really need to have a think about what you want before you ring up. I'm getting mixed messages here.
I'm worried about you wee people now. All angry and disaffected and ready to rise up.
Well, if it'll stop you banging on about the Muslims, then that's a good thing.
Oh, the Muslims aren't in it. They've got nothing on you guys. Except the 1 in 30 of them who also weed in class.
Them's your bombers. Hello, NHS Quit Smoking Helpline. You want a cigarette? Well, just don't. Yeah, don't. If you want one, don't. If you don't want one, don't. Yeah, I know you do. Just don't. No, don't. That's what I'm saying to you. Don't. No, don't. I don't know what else you want me to say to you. Just don't. Don't have one. Yeah, don't. Yeah, don't. Yeah, bye.
I suppose I'd always thought there might have been a bit more to a quit smoking helpline than that.
Well, I can't imagine what. I mean, how complicated can it be? You heard what I said to him.
You said don't.
Yeah, don't.
Well, I thought there might be stuff like setting the right date, using patches, avoiding stressful situations.
Oh, I should have read the sheet.
Basically, there's a rule on the show that you have to be able to do the Telegraph cryptic crossword, otherwise you can't come in. Sorry, it's very strict.
Yep. You think it's onset?
I think it's on something, isn't it?
It's on something.
Let's have a look, let's have a look. So it's 26 across. Number retreating, then deciding on
number retreating, no, backwards is number.
Yes.
Then decide set.
Decided might be set, but is an onset an attack?
On
It's
set, yes, onset. I'd definitely go with sector as well.
Pop
yeah.
sector in.
Yeah. Like that.
Well, 2.5 weeks worth of crossword, like 3 or 4 a day. That's mainly most time on this show spent doing crosswords and not actually filming.
What? Toby, just look at David. David, is there something you'd like to say? David, is there something you'd like to say on camera?
I'm officially saying that Sarah did get 2 cryptic crossword clues the other day, genuinely with her own head and brain.
Dirt bike.
Excellent work.
Dirt bike, brilliant.
17 down. The BBC. This is what we do.